I just bought a $1.3 million penthouse and I didn't even pay a cent for it. Sounds crazy, but it's all about using a smarter way to buy property. Faster, cheaper, and more effective than the traditional route. In this video, I'll break down the exact numbers and the strategy I used and how you can use it to get into property without overpaying or waiting forever. This building right here, it's a 5-story unit block or apartment complex. And I just picked this up for $5 million. It was $5,020,000 to be precise, but there's 12 really nice units in this complex. And I picked it up for $5 million divided by 12. It's about $418K per unit. This thing is a bargain, and I want to show you through all the details of this property that I bought. So let's jump into it. So this is the property here that I've got under contract right now. As you can see here, it's dual street frontage. It's a unit block. So you've got 12 units in total, 10 residential and 2 commercial units. This is in a suburb called Paran, and Paran's basically right next to St Kilda. It's right next to South Yarra. It's in the inner city Melbourne market, basically. So it's very close to Melbourne CBD. It's very close to, not too far from obviously the coastline. And it's a very, I would say, good area. Like you've got trendy locations, you've got cafes, you've got shops, you've got restaurants, so on and so forth. Like I believe it's a really, really good area. I personally flew out to inspect this property myself. This is it from one side. So you've got a double car garage there, a long double car garage there. So parking, it's only got 4 car parks on the entire complex. So some of these units don't technically have parking, but you can park during certain times out the front. But this is a very like high density kind of area. Like I would live in this location. The top floor is a penthouse. So it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. That's got the double car lockup garage. The garages are actually on separate titles themselves. Now this property is already strata titled. I personally love properties that are already strata titled. That's one of the balconies that is basically the penthouse. I'll take you through a couple other photos as well. This is one of the normal 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom layouts. You can see the year they were built. I'm pretty sure in my memory this property is about 8-9 years old. So this is one of the 2 bedrooms. I remember inspecting this one myself. Bathrooms, not too bad, and location. So if you want to see how I built my portfolio fast, I put together a free ebook, 30 properties before 30. No fluff, just real property investment strategies that I've used myself. Grab your copy by using the link below. Now again, I only paid $5 million for this building. And what is absolutely crazy is that where I live in Sydney, I live in the inner west, like houses are normally 4 or 5 million just for an average house. Now we're talking about Melbourne, of course. It's a completely different market. When you can see this is some of these streets there as well, which basically show like it's a very nice location. The land that it sits on is just under 300 square meters of land in this street here. So it's one street is called Regent Street. The other one is Bang Street by memory. Like basically land goes for close to 10,000 per square meter. So if we round it up to 300 square meters of land, then the land's almost worth $3 million. Let's say maybe $2.5 to $3 million. In the current market, in terms of how much it costs to actually build a unit, and that would be a standard kind of unit that's like a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom type of unit. I was basically quoted by a few different builders that building a complex like this would likely cost $500,000 per unit as a minimum, depending on the quality and the finishes and so on and so forth. So there's 12 units in total. You take $500,000 per unit times 12. That's about a $6 million replacement cost just from that aspect. That's probably not including things like how long it takes the land, how long it takes to build. It might take, it might be 18 to 2-year build, if not more. And then you've got to pay, obviously, you got to council rates, development fees, architect fees, like all that kind of stuff, right? Basically, to rebuild this property again, let's say you call the land $3 million and the build minimum $6 million, you're into 9, almost, I'd say it'd be more like $10 million to build this property again. So I bought it basically at half the price of what the replacement value it would cost to rebuild this property again. This one here, things to tell you about it. It was actually on commercialrealestate.com.au. So it was on commercial real estate, which is where a lot of obviously commercial properties are. And it was not on realestate.com.au. So what's very interesting about that is in more my history of buying lots of properties over the years, and especially unit blocks and blocks of units and blocks of townhouses and blocks of villas, all that kind of stuff, more eyes are seen on realestate.com.au. So this property was actually just on Real Commercial. And there's obviously some other people out there that focus on buying blocks of units that are 5 million, 10 million, 20 million throughout Australia. That's the people that I'm up against now for buying properties for myself personally and some for clients. But bear in mind, for buying properties for clients, we still do buy affordable properties starting at 300,000, up to $1 million. But this is a different type of thing. This would be more commercial. Obviously residential, units in there, but this is a larger transaction for a different type of investor. So you can see land 292, just shy of 300 square meters. And again, almost 10,000 square meter. just for the land. This was the actual brief. So strata building comprising of 10 units, and then obviously 2 residential. The actual original guide they dropped it down to was 5.25. I was able to purchase it for $5,020,000. So literally knocked just off the asking price. That's 240,000 roughly. But to me, this property is worth so much more. And even going through the contract to sale and the council rates and things like that, the council actually valued each of these units at a combined price of $6.4 million. The rental return on this type of property, let me show you. So I'll see if I can bring up the actual details of this was the original information memorandum for the actual property. And you can see the current passing rental income was about $275,000, and the estimated when it's fully leased out, because a couple of these were vacant at the time. So for them to allow to take people through, to obviously show them the tenants, and that's a normal thing to do. If you're putting a property on the market, real estate agents generally want you to have easy access to show people through. So that gives it about a 6.7%, 6.6 to 6.7% rental yield. And I was looking at the building profile like this, and what I found interesting, it wasn't being marketed to its best ability. As an example, it says 1 bedroom, and it gives you the square meterage and etc. But it doesn't actually tell you how many bathrooms. Like this 2-bedroom one, 85 square meters, that's actually 2 bathroom, and it doesn't say that it has 2 bathrooms. So to the average kind of investor that isn't experienced as me, they would basically be taking this usually as face value and saying, like this 3-bedroom here, right? It's 137 square meters internally. The penthouse, the council valued at around 1.4 million or 1.5. All it says is a 3-bedroom unit. It doesn't say how many bathrooms. It doesn't say, it's got multiple, 2 bathrooms and I'm pretty sure an extra powder room and all that kind of stuff. And the elevator goes directly into the thing, but you don't see any of that marketing here. To me, this was under marketed. And this and a bit about the floor plan here. You can see you've got storage lockers. These are all on different titles as well. You've got the garages. You've got office spaces here as well, which I might see if we can convert those to residential 1-bedders. This is a 1-bedroom here with a balcony, living, dining of a 2-bedroom. And then you've got another 2-bedroom here, which actually had the 2 bathrooms there. So that's a 2-bathroom, 2-bedroom, and that's a 1-bathroom, 1-bedroom. That's the rough layout. Basically, I'm buying this property now and it's August 2025. I've got about a 7-month settlement. And this is a strata title property. The work is already done, it's already been strata titled. And I firmly believe this is a bargain because they're basically selling the property in one line. And to get the maximum value for this property, if I was personally selling it, I would wait to move on the tenants, get a few of them vacant, and then sell them individually to individual buyers. And that might take 6 to 12 months, but you'd be attracting more buyers and not just one buyer buying in one line. So there's not many people who go out in Australia and basically look at blocks of units like this day in and day out. And I'm one of the main ones that do that. But there obviously are people, but compared to if someone was buying a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom house 30, 40 minutes or an hour out of Melbourne right now, because a lot of investors are buying in Melbourne. They're buying houses and shit, 20, 30 minutes out, especially on the north side. But not many people are looking for $5 million, $10 million blocks of units like I am. So you've got less competition, basically. You've got less competition, and when there's less competition, you can get better bargains. That's just how it is, how it always will be. It's a supply and demand point of view. If you've got less demand in terms of less people that are able to buy a $5 million block and know about it and understand this realm in this area, well, then you can get better deals. One of the things that many turned other people off, which didn't bother me at all, is that this property actually had a more cladding issue. And the outside of the property itself, this is all concrete. The top bit over at the very, very top, if you can see, this underside of the actual building is that cladding. And for those of you who don't know, there's obviously been a lot of cladding issues. If you Google Grenfell Tower in basically London, there was a massive unfortunate issue where, the cladding basically was combustible. And a lot of people, unfortunately, didn't make it in that instance. So basically a lot of throughout Australia and other places, people very, very scared of cladding issues. Basically, I got them to agree to fix up the cladding issue and have that form part of the contract of sale. So basically, within the 7-month period of when I go to settle on this property and own it, I will only settle on it and have to purchase if and when they actually remove the cladding and replace it and then get it signed off by council. So that's part of one of the special conditions. But that would put a lot of people off, especially ones that haven't, bought in excess of 3,000 or 4,000 properties like I have. Obviously, I own a portfolio myself. With this included, it's probably taken me to about 160, 170 properties in my portfolio, roughly. and I bought 3,000, 4,000 plus, for, including myself and clients. This is what I was literally doing and buying in July, August of 2025. It's an entire block. Some people might think it's a good buy. I think it's a phenomenal buy. And I think there's at least about $1.5 million worth of profit here, because even the counter will value these units at 6.4 million. So just another topic about this unit block that I've been showing you guys. Many people might say, well, what happens when other blocks of units, if we look at this, other blocks of units are built up around the area? That's going to basically devalue the apartments and units that you have in that complex, and that's going to limit your capital growth. That's what I'd say 99% of the investors out there would say. Why that doesn't matter at all is I'm going to show you right now. Let's have a look at basically what off the plan units. So this is a new development as an example, and it's in Porter Street, Paran, which isn't too far away. It's 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1 car. Now remember that this is what it's going to hopefully look like, and the finishes and the fixtures and all that kind of stuff. So this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, but you can see the floor plan there. Basically, how much are they asking that for a new development? They're asking over around 1.1 million for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit. And again, I've got like 12 of those almost for $418,000 a piece, and brand new ones. So yes, brand new ones are being built. But the issue is the land cost in that area is so high, which I know, and the building cost in that area is so high, is that basically they'll be into it for probably like 750, 800,000, 900,000. So they'll have to sell it at $1 million or 1.1 million just to make a profit. So that's what gets me so excited, is that once you understand this stuff and once you see it with your own 2 eyes, you can buy blocks of stuff like this that is so far under the bank valuation, under the replacement cost, that you are basically guaranteed to make money from day one. And I know that I'm going to make at least $1 to $2 million at least from this deal, probably literally within the next 12 months. There's probably $2 million or so that I'll get it valued higher, and then I'll pull that equity out and buy again. So that's just one deal. Like, I'll try to do a deal like this every single month, and the rest is history. If you're serious about growing your portfolio fast, you can book a call with my team. We'll map out a game plan on exactly where you're at and where you want to be. And we'll show you how to hit your property investment goals so much quicker. Click on the link and book it in right away. So that's how to buy property faster, smarter, and cheaper without making the usual mistakes. But one deal is just the beginning. The real question is, how do you scale from 1 property to over 10 properties with just starting with 100K? I break it down in this next video. Definitely go watch it right away.